When the road gets tough, what do you do? Welcome to Kirsti Cast, the show where we hope to illuminate, entertain, and engage our listeners, helping them create the life they want. I'm your host, Kirsti Manna. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kirsti Cast. I am Kirsti Manna, and I'm here with the mad scientist, Bill Warner. He's behind the scenes. I'm shooting a video too. If you're maybe you're watching this podcast, or you might be listening. But if you would like to watch the podcast, you can find me on YouTube on my Songwriter Girl 1 channel. So I hope you'll go there and check it out. So today we're going to be talking about being resilient. And my guest today in the Shero Spotlight is a person who's certainly been resilient through these many years. Her name is Melody Guy, and she's part of my mini songwriter series. She is an indie singer-songwriter, and we're going to be meeting her in just a little bit in the Shiro Spotlight. But what is it to be resilient? I always think about Elastigirl in what was that movie called? Help me, Bill. What's that movie called? What was that movie called?
The Incredibles.
The Incredibles. I started saying The Untouchables. That's because I like that movie too. Anyway, in The Incredibles, and I think the person that was the voiceover for that character was Holly Hunter, who I really like a lot. Another short girl. I love the short people. But at any rate, I always think about Elastigirl because part of being resilient is to be flexible. And, flexibility is kind of like an anti-aging benefit. You can become flexible at any age. I don't know how many of you out there study yoga, but certainly if you study yoga, you can learn to be, and you'll become, if you stick it out, more flexible. And, you gain strength by learning how to bend. Another thing about being resilient is, you're somebody, or you can develop these qualities and skills. You're somebody that bounces back easy from problems. You stick it out. You roll with the punches. So I hope that you have some of those qualities in your life. And I know sometimes it can be really tough and you don't feel like being resilient. But one way you can regain that strength is by staying positive, by, staying away from negativity, staying away from negative people. Finding ways to, give yourself a little self-care, finding hope in the day-to-day grind, because there's hope in every day. And so those are a few of my ideas about being resilient. I am a bona fide rehasher. I'm part Italian, and so Italians, they rehash things. It doesn't matter what the subject is. It could be anything. And so in the rehash, of course, there's a lot of comfort to me in rehashing, but in the people around me that I'm rehashing with, it's not really a comforting quality. So that's always something that I'm working on, is to try to, not rehash and not go over and over things, because that can tend to be a little bit negative. So I hope that's a help to those of you rehashers out there who are listening. All right, well, we're going to be right back with our Shiro Spotlight. Stay tuned for the Shiro Spotlight. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my Shiro Spotlight, where today I have one of my favorite people, probably in the whole world. This is an amazing, uniquely gifted songwriter. She's a relentless indie singer-songwriter who tours. She's like crisscrossed the United States like 1.5 million miles, and she performs all kinds of places, festivals, house concerts, coffee shops, and she finds that there are interesting spots along the road to perform. Her profoundly prolific writing weaves her life's journey of love, loss, and triumph of the spirit, and she continues to inspire her fans. And she has 6 albums to her credit, the latest being Dry the Rivers, and her latest single, Human Connection, was released just very recently. You can find her on all the socials, and you'll probably spot her somewhere driving by your town. Please welcome the incomparable Melody Guy.
Hi,
Hi,
Kirsti.
Melody. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be back.
You're welcome. Well, for those people watching this podcast, they're behind you. They're going to see all these beautiful paintings on the wall. And I will start with that question. What made you do this latest endeavor of painting? How did you discover that about yourself?
What's interesting is that I could never paint, and then I got an electrical jolt from a power pole that exploded behind my van.
Oh, get out.
Speechless for like 3 months, and I wasn't talking straight for like a year. But I was playing a resort, and Kathy Carr had hired me to play at this resort, and she was doing the painting, you know, all the activities and stuff. And she sat me down with some 8-year-olds and, you know, 10-year-olds, and she's like, "Hey, you want to paint?" So she handed me the brushes and the canvas, and she goes, that looks like Van Gogh. I'm like, really? I was trying to do the straight yellow, orange, red with the black mountains. That's easy desert sunset, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't go straight. So that's how I figured out that I could paint. And then from there, I've painted maybe 150 something paintings, and I've sold a bunch of them for 200 and up, which is great.
Wow.
I mean, it's me. It's like, I'm just doing this for stress relief, and I didn't even know I could do it before.
And other people are loving it and they're buying it.
Yeah,
that's great. So we're going to play something for us at the end of this interview live. But what drives you, Melody? What drives you to drive?
I would say number one is that people thought it was dangerous. People thought I couldn't do it. Oh, you're a woman. You can't go out there by yourself, blah, blah, blah. Even I told myself that. And yet I'm like, you know what? I'm doing it. So my kids left their instruments here when they moved back to Oregon. And I wanted to get them their instruments. And so that was the first trip.
Oh, wow. And that had a real purpose to it.
Yeah, because it would have been too expensive to, you know, actually mail. So I'm like, well, I have to do this. And I put it on Facebook, and everything was taken care of. Every place I went, I had what I needed. I got paid to play. People booked gigs, and it hasn't stopped for over 15 years of traveling like this.
It's so amazing. Well, I know what drives you because I have the luxury of knowing you. And I know what drives you is having a lot of faith. You have a lot of determination. You have a real message in your songs. You're one writer artist for me that really speaks from the heart and is not afraid to sing about things that are sometimes difficult to hear or to discuss. So you put it in a song, and I think it's very healing.
Thank you.
Tell me one of your stay inspired stories, maybe about an experience you had with one of your songs and how it affected somebody else.
Well, Mistakes Like Me is a song that I wrote with Tom Kimmel, but it's about the experience of my son in school and my experience in school. I got through the 8th grade. I didn't do well in school. I was shattered by anybody looking at me, or, you know, I was teased because of my name, but I'm also in the spectrum. So I had to overcome a lot just to walk onto campus. And I know that my son experienced the same thing. And he's almost graduated from web development school. It's taken him a long time. He is my inspiration for a lot of things. He's the reason why I do pretty much everything. I want him to succeed. I want to put everything I have behind him so he can do that. And you got to listen to the song. You know the song,
right?
But your watchers and your listeners, if you hear the song, you know it's not calling people a mistake. It's how people view anybody who's different. I mean, gosh, you know, Einstein. You know what I mean?
Right.
So Bill Gates, all of those super genius people may have seemed awkward at
And had a hard time of it, just getting through life or being accepted.
Absolutely. And in Nashville, I mean, I'm left of center.
Yes.
So,
but you're okay. Stay over there. You've got it. You got it covered, girl.
yeah,
You're
I'm not good at pretending.
So what do you feel like, because you're a mom, this always interests me to ask people what they think they're teaching their kids about authenticity.
Well, I've never been good at pretending or being pretentious or whatever. I love people, probably even when I shouldn't.
Yeah.
That's in a lot of my songs.
That's one of your flaws. You just love people too much.
And yeah, it's just like with Robert, I mean, he's loving, caring, beautiful. My daughter is beautiful and talented and loving, and they're all different. All my kids are different. And my oldest is, I mean, all of the kids play instruments, and Delaney and Sean, they play multiple instruments, and they all sing. Robert keeps it undercover, but it's just
Okay.
authentic self. And I know that I'm not like a lot of moms. I will live in a van for months at a time.
And that van is so interesting. You had it all tricked out, and you sleep in there, and you can cook in there, and it's just like you're home away from home, and you and that van have seen a lot together, and you have a lot of stories to tell that you set to music, which is so great. And I just know how many people respect you in Nashville and beyond, that know about your determination. That's the biggest thing that you say to me is, when I think about you and watch what you do with your artistry, is just how determined you are as an artist, and in just getting it out there. Don't you think that's one of the biggest things with art, is just getting it out there? It's like, that's the biggest dream that all of us that create something tangible want to do.
Right. It's that sharing that passion with somebody else, because you know that somebody else has felt like that before.
Yes.
And I know what it was like before I was allowed to sing again. I felt like I was the only one feeling this way. Right. And when I see that experience come out on their faces and in their words when they tell me, that's my story. That was my dad. That was, that's me. And I'm like, you're not alone. Isn't this great?
Right.
I've felt alone most of my life, and I don't want people to feel like there's no way out,
Right.
Right. Because I've been hopeless, and you've seen me that way.
Yeah. And you really can bootstrap it. I mean, you just pick yourself off and brush yourself off, and you just keep on keeping on. Yeah. And that's really, to me, is a real role model for other artists who give up so easily, because we both know how difficult it is to be a creative person in the world, and back to the whole thing of acceptance. And you have got so many fans that are so touched by you. So whenever, I'm just saying this to you as a friend, and whenever you feel like you're not successful, you should think about that, because that's a huge milestone, and a huge blessing to have in your life, I think.
It is. And during this time of pandemic, when I thought, oh my gosh, I need to sell all my guitars and everything, it all comes together. It's just, it's God saying, or universal energy, whatever you believe in, that the will and connection to the passion has not been broken because of a virus.
Right. That's really pretty. I like that. You should put that in a song. You probably already wrote that idea. or you're writing it right now while we're talking. I know you're capable of that. You can like take your brain out of your brain, and you're so talented. So what do you think is your power word? I love to ask women their power word. What's yours?
Well, I know that resilient is a good one, and tenacity. I mean, like, I know I'm tenacious.
Yes. What advice do you have for people that want to give up?
It's boring giving up.
Yes.
I mean, I want to see how this is all going to turn out, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, if I gave up, I wouldn't see how it middles. I don't want to say ends, you
Yeah.
know, like how it middles, I mean, right now people are feeling like this, but what's going to happen when you're up here?
Right.
What's that going to look like? I want to see that. I want to be there for the win. I want to be there for the middle, and be proud of myself.
Yeah.
There's so many things that have gotten in my way, love, marriage, you know, all kinds of things. But I don't, even when I'm at my lowest, it's like, how is this gonna come back up? Because you know it always does.
Yes.
It always will.
Yeah. I think that's really true. And I think that, you know, being tenacious teaches you a lot about yourself too. And I think that all of us that struggle with anything creatively, you know, and I'm not talking about people that draw or paint or sing or write songs. I mean, anybody that's trying to create something, create a business, create an idea, you know, shape an idea. You just really have to stay with it, and you have to really understand too if it's kind of like your calling, you know.
Right.
And I always feel bad for people that don't ever figure out their calling, you know, because everybody's born with gifts. It's just having the guts to dig it out and stick with it.
Deny
Yes.
own gifts. They're just like, I'm not talented. I'm not creative. But then they show it through cooking or loving.
Yes.
Or showing love through actions. And that is big. That is creative.
Yes.
So,
I think that's true.
People need
So,
to dig a bit deeper.
So I want you to finish the sentence for me. The number one thing I'm grateful for today is
music.
Music.
Yeah.
Yes, that's wonderful. Well, speaking of music, we only have a few minutes left, but I would love if you could play live your newest release, which is called Human Connection. And also for our listeners, I want to let them know Melody's going to play this live right now, but we're also going to play a little bit of the actual recording at the end of the show. And now, Melody, before you play, tell everybody where they can find you and your art and your music and your songs and your next gigs and all that stuff.
Okay, so it is melodyguy.com/music for my new single, Human Connection.
Okay.
It's right at the top. And then I've got actually 10 albums.
Oh, 10. How come I only found 6?
Yeah, because some of them are buried.
Oh, buried, okay.
I still count them.
The gold you must dig for, they're buried.
Yeah, but they will be coming up online very soon. I mean, why not show it all? I mean,
do it.
Right? Yeah, and then my art I'm putting back up on my website.
Okay.
And, in this pandemic, I've had to do everything myself, so I accidentally deleted it.
Uh-oh.
Put it back up. It'll be fine. It'll look better than before.
We'll see it soon enough.
Okay.
That's good. I'm ready for the song. Thanks so much, Melody. Melody Guy with Human Connection.
Yesterday is turned into today now. I will try to surrender to sleep somehow. Maybe dream of the day we can safely display our human connection from closer than 6 feet away. No one's got a welcoming smile now. Feeling nervous when I walk through the aisles, and how I dream of the day we can safely display our human connection from closer than 6 feet away. To save ourselves, to save a stranger Who would have thought that just being close could ever put us in danger? Everyone needs to make their own masks now. Wear them when you go out for reasons allowed, so we can live to the day we can safely display our human connection. We're closer than 6 feet away. Oh, so we can live for the day we can safely display our human connection. We're closer than 6 feet away.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Melody. Melody Guy with her new single, Human Connection. Well, Melody, thank you so much for being with us today on the Shero Spotlight. You are truly a Shero, a great inspiration to everyone. And I hope I see you soon within 6 feet.
Thank you so much.
I love you too. All right. Thank you. Everybody stick around. We'll be right back.
You're my Shero, more than a hero, and I look up to you every single day. Every day, my celebration, my inspiration is to be like you, but in my own way. You're my Shero, more than a hero.
We are back, and if you were listening to this podcast, I hope you also go to my YouTube page, Songwriter Girl 1, my channel there, and watch this podcast on video. I hope you'll do that. And for those of you who are just meeting me for the first time on this podcast, you may not know that I'm a songwriter, publisher. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm originally from Ohio. Are there any Buckeyes out there? Because I always love to connect with the Buckeyes. But I'm originally from Ohio. I do live in Nashville now with my husband, Bill Warner, who's behind the scenes today, pushing all the buttons for me and running the camera and running the lights and all this wonderful stuff that he does. But I love to play a song in every show, and so this is something that I co-wrote with another person from Ohio, Darla Perlozzi, and Danny Myrick, who's a Nashville writer. And this is called I Like My Cowboys Dirty. This song has been recorded by several different artists. And Bill and I have roots in jazz, and so one day I was fiddling around with this song, and I thought, wait a minute. I think this song could go from a rock edge to a jazzy song. So I put my spin on it, so here it is. I got a thing, a son of my fascination, a little daydream about a hot-looking, hard-working, chiseled hunk of temptation. Alright, I'm busted. It's more like a not so innocent obsession. I see him rough, rugged, all day, tired muscles ache and need a little love-making girls. You know what I'm saying? I like a real man who likes to use his hands, knows how to get it done, knows when I'm ready. Blame it on hormones or pheromones, like a fine cologne. Man, it turns me on when he gets sweaty. You might like 'em all cleaned up and pretty. I like my cowboys dirty. Yes, I do. That's a little bit of I Like My Cowboys Dirty, and you can check my music out at my website, Kirsti.com. We'll be right back. Well, I really wanted to include this segment in my podcast called What the Tech because I am a little bit technically challenged. And so I wanted to make it my mission to find devices and gadgets and apps that would help me in my life, and then consequently I could pass it on to everybody out there who's listening or watching this podcast. So the one that I found, and one that we use a lot around here, is made by SanDisk. And this little thing, it kind of looks like an earring or something. It is called the SanDisk iExpand Mini Flash Drive, and it's made for iPhones. And when you buy one of these, you also get an app. You get the software that enables you to take pictures and videos from your phone and put them and store them, back them up into your laptop, and vice versa. If you have pictures and videos in your laptop that you want to put in your phone, then you can also use this device. So here's how it works. You stick this end into your phone, and then that part of it goes in to your laptop. And I just really recommend getting one of these. It's really saved us many times, especially when we shoot video on the phone and, we don't want to keep it in the phone. First of all, we only have it in one place. And second of all, it's taking up a lot of memory space in the phone. So I really recommend getting one of these SanDisk mini flash drives. And they also make one for Android. I think it's called SanDisk Ultra GB Pro, something like that. So you can go check that out. I'm an iPhone person. So I hope you'll be getting one of these.
What the tech? What the tech? Tech.
Meow, not bow wow. Meow, not bow wow. Meow, not bow wow. Meow, not bow wow.
Oh, I love that song, Meow Not Bow Wow. I love dogs, but I really am a huge cat lover. Anybody that knows me out there knows that I live and breathe the fur of cats. Anyway, does anybody out there have cat allergies? I'm lucky that I don't, but I know a lot of people do. And so that's why we never let any cats into our studio, because we know there's a lot of people out there that can't be around cats, sadly. And people usually that are allergic to cats, they're really sad that they're allergic to cats because they really want to pet them. Anyway, I had a couple people write in and ask me a few questions about cats. And yes, Henry is doing fine. He still weighs 19 pounds. We're trying to keep him 19 or below. He's just a really big cat. The other two cats aren't as big as him, Big Fluff and Chili. They're like about 10 pounds less. So anyway, I wish Henry would come in here, but he doesn't like music. He gets scared of music. I don't know what that's about. He just doesn't resonate with him. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you for a few seconds about some of the cool facts that I found out about cats. Did you know that cats can make 100 sounds? I didn't either. I think I've heard maybe 60 of them from my cats, but 100? That's amazing. And sadly, dogs can only make 10 different sounds. So, yes, I know. Those of you out there listening are thinking right what I'm thinking. Yes, cats are better than dogs. And did you know this? That Americans spend annually more on cat food than they do on, get ready for this, not toilet paper, not potato chips, no, than baby food. But of course, a lot of people consider their cats to be babies, so I can see why that happens too. And for those of you who need a little distressing, not distressing, but de-stressing, cats could be the answer to your problem. They've done studies that cats that sit on your lap and purr can actually help decrease your blood pressure. Even petting a cat can help decrease your blood pressure. So if you don't have a cat and you would like to have a cat, besides the money you'll have to spend on food, I think the de-stressing part of owning a cat is really, really a positive thing. So I hope you're going to go out there and help some poor cat, foster a cat, or take a cat in. There's lots of cats out there that need homes, and you can find a cat that needs you on petfinders.com, or just go to your local shelter. Right now, while I'm getting ready to say goodbye to everybody, I wanted to give a special shout out to a really special guy who works at the Kroger on Chute Lane in Hermitage, Tennessee, which is just outside of Nashville. If any of you go shopping there, I've been really happy to meet this young man because I've been taking advantage of the click and pick, where you order your food and everything online and then you just go pick it up. You drive up and somebody loads it into your car. Well, this particular guy's name is simply Eddie. And Eddie is a really kind worker there at Kroger. And so if you have the chance to meet him, please tell him that I said, thanks, Eddie. Well, we're getting ready to close the show out. It's been another great show. I hope you've enjoyed our special Shero Spotlight with Melody Guy, and that you're going to go to melodyguy.com and check out all of her music because she is a great artist, and who knows, maybe she'll be playing in your town sometime soon. I want to remind you that if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about this podcast, if you would like to possibly be a guest or you know somebody who would like to be a guest on the podcast, make sure you send us an email at info@songwritergirl.com. Also, if you need any help with your career, with mentoring, with some guidance, please hit me up. I would love to work with you, and you can find out more information about me as a mentor and consultant at Kirsti.com and at songwritergirl.com. And also, we can't leave today without thanking our amazing sponsors, Outreach U and Warner Works, for all your production needs here in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm looking forward to seeing you and meeting you next time on Kirsti Cast. And whatever you do, stay inspired. See you next time. You've been listening to Kirsti Cast.